tienes esa cosa especial, bella mariposa especial, ella con su rosa especial, todos quieren ese especial, tú tienes esa cosa
People deserve us
especial,
at our pre and post game finest.
ella con su rosa especial, todos quieren ese especial.
That's what you think. I'm not editing shit.
This is just what you guys get now. You see the behind-the-scenes bullshit that we have to deal with all the time. Huzzah, I am Monk, your host. Welcome to PIDCAST, Episode 4. We are a podcast by fans, for fans, and for the people still waiting on that therapy money from KSE. PIDCAST is a part of the Bangarang soccer community, telling soccer stories a mile in the sky and on till morning. And boy, are we telling stories this year. Don't forget to check out our NWSL sister show, Sum It Up, our new interview series, Interrobang, and our bi-weekly Rapids 2 show, R2P2 with Keith Richards, which has been actually put correctly in my notes for the first time this season for me.
Yeah, Monk
Sorry,
is Ron
Keith.
Burgundy, y'all. He will read whatever you write.
Just
Like-
put stuff in there. If it's a paragraph, I'm just reading through it, and I get the words wrong half the time anyway.
The power Sara and I have is inevitable.
Oh, speaking of that,
Rarely exercised.
Vittori is here with us. How you doing, Vittori?
I'm doing great. I had a lovely International Women's Day this past weekend. Hope you all got a chance to love on the most beautiful women in your lives. But I got to take my godchild to Chuck E. Cheese. We played a little hooky from school and went to Chuck E. Cheese yesterday. So it's been a good weekend after the Rapids game.
Yeah, education's unimportant, really.
Does Rosie have like a set amount of school absences for Auntie Sara? Like
Well,
per year?
Apparently, I am like on the authorized can take her from school list, but I don't know that her father is going to allow me to keep those privileges if I abuse them too much. But like, come on, she's 3. What is she possibly learning at school? We'll like sing the alphabet on the drive home. It'll be fine.
They're already learning how to code by that point. Like, now they won't learn about unions until they're like 45, but
No, but I will say it was wild with her like tech literacy, how quickly she picked up on the different games in a way that like I was surprising to me that a 3-year-old could do. So,
well, yeah, because they have like most of them have phones really early. Like that's just how they don't have to learn technology. They just know technology
like it just
now.
she just is a technology kid. It's wild.
It is crazy.
But
But
she's
anyways,
also a Rapids
okay.
kid.
Well, that's good. And I'm here with the guy who didn't know it was Mario Day today, Matt.
I mean, do you think I'm less in trouble or more in trouble that I didn't know it was International Women's Day or that I didn't know it was Mario Day? I have a feeling when my significant other listens to this, it's probably not going to be the plumber.
It doesn't matter, Matt, because we all know that we're Luigi stands anyways.
Yeah, player 2 because he wasn't Luigi in the first game.
Luigi Mangione is the international woman we all aspire to be.
Matt now has just
And
pissed
there
off
goes
2
episode 5.
whole.
While we're on the taking the episode, I saw the most beautiful meme that says, "If terrorist, why lover boy shaped?" And it's just a picture of Luigi Mangione. And I can't unsee it, so neither can you.
We're never going to get any sponsors this way.
We're going to get only the sponsors we want. It's going to be
We are.
great.
That's fine. That's totally, yeah.
And all it's going to do is go to our attorney's fees.
No, we said last episode when you weren't here, Mug, we could just break some of the PIDCAST budget off of his commissary funds. So we're good.
Welcome to
Speaking
the
of people who are
PIDCAST.
killing it.
Oh.
All right, let's get into the Rapids crap, right? How's it going in PIDDER Chatter, Matt?
The segment's called PIDDER Chatter, not Rapids Crap. Get it right. You have to read what I wrote, and it says PIDDER Chatter.
Oh, that's what that says.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my vision's a little bad, and I moved my screen. So,
But speaking of Rapids Crap, the audacity here The MLS issued lifetime suspensions to Derek Jones and Yao Yaboa for violating the league's gambling policy after reviewing results from an investigation spanning 2024 and 2025, in which both members of the Columbus Crew were found to have gambled on their own outcomes. Specifically, Derek Jones was noted as having gambled or placed bets that he would get a yellow card. And in fact, he did get a yellow card. Magical. How could anyone have predicted this? So the audacity here is I'm just upset that Max Alves is getting less notoriety than these guys are. Max didn't even get a lifetime ban. All we knew was Max was removed from the roster, and then we never heard anything more about it. Yet
Wait,
these guys...
So are you saying that what is the appropriate punishment? A lifetime ban, or they just disappear you overnight?
I think I want a lifetime ban for Max. I want him to get at least the notoriety of it, not just this nebulous, like, will he, won't he, when we all know, won't he? Like, have some respect for our boy, our Brazilian number 8. He was fantastic. I miss him. And I think someone pointed out that while Max didn't technically bet on himself like these guys did, he did facilitate outcomes, which leads me to a point that I would like to bring up. And if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to read verbatim from a press release entitled MLS Enters Multi-Year Partnership with Polymarket, released on Monday, January 26th of 2026 at 12:20 p.m. Statement from Shane Copeland, founder and CEO of Polymarket. As soccer's audience continues to grow and evolve in the U.S., fans are looking for new ways to engage more deeply with the game. Through our partnership with MLS and Leagues Cup, we can surface real-time collective sentiment around key moments, matches, and season-long storylines, giving fans a more interactive, data-driven way to experience the game and engage with the world's most popular sport. So I put this question to Blue Sky. To wit, were Derek Jones, Yao Yaboa, and our boy Max Alves gambling, or were they simply trying to surface real-time collective sentiment around key moments? Discuss.
Well, the simple answer is yes, but that's just a bunch of corporate fluff bullshit to get gambling money. Let's just be honest. They're trying to make a way to make it sound like they just admit you like gambling. That's perfectly fine to like gambling. Right? Go gamble, go spend your money. Like if you have an addiction, maybe go get some help, but like putting a little money down on some outcomes and stuff and having a little fun like that, great. Never going to be against that. What these guys did is wrong. You know, you're fixing the deck for yourself, but nonetheless. And second, suspension, it's not a suspension. Suspensions have a time limit. So right? Like this, yeah, they just can't ever come back. It's not a suspension. They are just a ban. God, they're expelled. All right, they're gone.
Well, I mean, that's a good point, but I want to take this moment for a PSA, a PIDCAST service announcement, that if you or someone you know is facing a gambling problem, call the Gambling Help Network at 1-800-522-4700. With that service announcement said, we can go back to making fun of this, because they gave a lifetime ban to a guy who's currently playing in China and a guy who's not on the roster, which is even worse. I assume the players knew this was coming. The teams knew this was coming. I don't think an investigation like this is happening, in the shadows during the MLS. But releasing something like this 3 weeks into the MLS season about two players that are no longer in the MLS, it does feel like carrying water to try and warn other players this season versus actually being punitive. And again, I think is just completely incongruous with the amount of press the MLS put behind their Polymarket matchup. Like, this is ridiculous. This would be akin to, like, NFL player caught drinking after the Budweiser Super Bowl halftime show kind of thing. Like, you can't have your cake and expect like other people not to want to eat it too.
I think it is a funny outcome to a ridiculous frame that we have created. Like, I disagree with you, Monk. I'm not a fan of gambling. I was raised in a family where it was considered religiously banned. But all that aside, like, I think the ways in which sports gambling has been digitized allows for it to actually be really predatory. And so, like, I think sneaking it into different parts of our lives with it in MLS is yeah, like, not something I love. Like, I'm just like, I don't know that we actually need this. Hold on. And so therefore, I think it's hilarious that two players who weren't even going to continue in the league were able to turn a quick buck off of, like, I don't know, throwing some hands. I don't know what the actual yellow card he got was, but I think it's kind of funny.
So, first, more predatory because it's digital. Come on.
No,
Loan
that's
sharks, gambling in
Yes,
casinos that
because
pump more oxygen into it, making sure there's no clocks. Like, gambling has
ban
been predatory long before.
You can
before
ban yourself
digital.
from casinos. Your family members will probably know if you jump in the car and drive to a casino. You can lock yourself in your mom's basement and blow your entire...
And you could turn off your fucking phone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
but
you can't, because they're using the same algorithmically perfected principles to keep you addicted to not only being on your phone, but staying in their app so you can't look away. And it used to be in Joe DiMaggio and Pete Rose's Green Earth, you had to walk your butt to a bookie to place these bets. And if you didn't pay up, you were getting your kneecaps broken, so you couldn't walk back. The same thing's not happening in my like USB outfitted lazy boy recliner as I stare at 6 screens while constantly scrolling through the live update bet lines on my phone. The only thing you should be able to bet on is horses. Self-control. I'm sorry.
Good news is, though, that Jokic will now sponsor. We got our sponsor back.
Yeah,
Jokic
I'm
came
not.
at us.
Yeah. Join us in our Serbian King in outlawing gambling outside of live horse trackside betting.
Yeah, I think that Matt, I think you have convinced me that like this slap on the wrist for two players kind of ignores the like extreme temptation that was dangled in front of their face.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of addictions, wake up, babe. New mascot just dropped. I don't know if you were watching the socials this weekend, but the creative force that she is, Sara Fattori, presented me with a belated birthday gift and quite possibly the best thing to happen to Pids culture ever, in a Rapids Paddington bear, complete with Paddington and 96 on the back of the jersey and a PIDCAST pin on the hat and an authentic "This bear is from darkest Peru, please take care of him" note tag around the neck. I was floored. The internet's loving it. There have been requests for Sara to make more. Maybe this is how we finally get the yacht money. But as someone who is addicted to Paddington very famously on this show, my addiction was rewarded here. So I think this goes to show why gambling is dangerous.
I'm gambling that money away if we get it. So,
Yeah.
you know, because I'm putting it on the Rapids to win the cup.
Well, then you have to put it on like animated bear fights just to like stay thematically appropriate. Like Paddington versus like Yogi kind of thing, or like Winnie the Pooh. And that guy doesn't wear pants, so odds are in his favor. But this
Paddington in the press box was beautiful, and also really hoping that Paddington, as a traveling bear, can catch some away games, you know?
Yeah, and so the moniker Piddington is going to stick, which means Sara pointed this out, 2/3 of us have our own mascot now. I have Piddington the bear, which I will put on camera right now. Look at this guy right here, this beautiful, beautiful boy. And you see Pixel the prairie dog on Sara's screen. Pixel went to Mexico.
Because he went to Mexico City, he has this incredibly creepy luchador mask.
All right. Well,
So
now
Monk,
we
we
get
gotta
canceled
find-
for
It's
our
totally
kid
fine.
mask.
We need to get you one so that we can do an episode that's literally just the 3 mascots and then our voices like superimposed. Yeah. Give the people what they want, Monk.
Honestly, I have to take
I
the
have a Grogu over here somewhere.
No, has to be
No.
PIDCAST related.
Yeah.
I have a snake. I have a razor snake.
Be more
That's it.
nerdy.
I thought
More
I was
nerdy?
spitballing some ideas. If we got like a monkey with a plague mask, I feel like that could work.
Oh, a monkey
Did you
with
say
a plague
be
mask.
more nerdy?
I did.
What's that?
Do you see the wall right here that shows?
No, because in Riverside, you're vertically
can't
aligned,
see-
so
I'm
I
just
can't see
vertically
anything to
aligned?
left and right of you.
Well, it shows
Neither
up on
can
the
the
big
listeners.
camera. Just saying. That's a Master Chief helmet from Halo 3 signed by the voice actor of Master Chief. It's my pride and joy.
Not PIDS related. Don't care. Moving
Could
on.
be Feds related. You don't know. We could have. Master Chief might be a fan. For all you know, you
You're
don't
gonna
know.
find out like Master Chief was actually originally voice acted by Pablo Mastroianni, and that's how it's
Exactly.
PID related. All right, moving on. Wake Up Again, Babe. Old Youth Club dropped. This I've heard from some is the worst kept secret in Colorado soccer culture. The Colorado Rapids have announced that they are ending their relationship with the Colorado Youth Soccer Academy. I think some inside baseball in this one that fans might not know is that this youth soccer academy used to be the Colorado Storm. They are now going back to the Colorado Storm. The Rapids branding was a licensing partnership between the youth academy and the MLS team, the Colorado Rapids. So it's not like the Rapids are cutting their youth program. The Rapids very much still have and invest in their own academy. They have online school at the Dick that their academy players go through. And then, of course, we have MLS Next Pro leading up to the first team. So this isn't the Rapids just cutting bait with the kids. But this is a pretty seismic announcement in the Colorado youth soccer landscape. So shout out to Monk for making sure this hit PIDDER Chatter and hit the airwaves.
Well, let's be honest. Knowing Kroenke, I wouldn't be surprised if he just cut children or tried to hire them as labor, with how greedy he is. And like, we could use those kids. Maybe they could help us fix the screen. They're young, they're smart with technology. Maybe we get our pixels fixed with the children that they just cut.
Have you ever seen Snowpiercer? You know, it's the little kids, because only the little kids can fit in the crawl space. Like, that's who's behind the scoreboard, like trying to move the actual like active pixels per graphic.
It's like Grogu where he pushes him through and he's like, put those two together, and he shocks himself. Come on.
I think
I'm the
I think
only Star Wars fan on this cast. It's fine.
I think the biggest loss here is going to be for local thrifters. You're probably going to, for the next year, see an abundance of Rapids branded clothing that were always overflow from the youth soccer academy, but then it's probably gonna dry up and then become collectors items. I for one know I've tried to fit into many a youth XL Rapids Youth Club hoodie because they had cool swag.
Well, moving us on to this past weekend in our game recap. You said
We've got more, Sarah. It's not time yet.
Oh my God.
I told you put like 8 things in here. Did you not read the notes?
Speaking of the kids, R2 got messed with in North Texas, suffering defeat against a hated rival, or maybe, and this is how we get Sarah back into the fold, a heated rival. To find out more, listen to this week's episode of R2P2 with Keith Richards ahead of R2's home opener at the Dick. Also be on the lookout for our conversation with the one and only Brian Crookham when that Interrobang episode drops this week. And as far as other Bangarang family news, be sure to check out the first Summit Up episode of the 2026 season and the re-release of our 2025 Summit interviews as part of our Interrobang series as we ramp up for their season opener against Bay FC. And as an appetizer for our game recap, Rafa Navarro, our Brazilian god of light and pressing and Colorado Rapids captain, as well as Darren Yappy, both made the MLS team of the match day. Rafa's brace saw him make the starting lineup, and Yappy's goal and assist got him on the bench. That's 3 Rapids now gaining the honor with Lucas Harrington making team of the match day, week 2. Sarah, you're on.
Thank you for that lovely run up to our match recap of this past weekend's game where Rapids
Wait, hold
took
up. There's
on...
another piece of news. We just really wanted to know what happened to Keith Richardson because you replaced him pretty quickly with Keith Richards. And
Dear God.
What's the Taylor Swift that Keith Richardson can't pick up? Keith Richardson's dead. Long live Keith Richards.
I can't pick up because he's dead.
Yeah.
I do want to, if we want to do more updates, I can report that there are screens in the women's bathrooms.
Whoa!
So they're not in the stalls. They're like in the main area, but...
Wait, they're not... Where... What's the main area? Do you guys have like a gaming lobby?
yeah, they just have like a bunch of couches and shit that
Is there
they
like a
hang out on.
lounge?
Yeah, and then
Little
there's like the
cocktail
space
bar
where
with-
you get your like shoes polished, and then there's the makeup area.
Probably charcuterie board
And then
somewhere.
there's
I
the
feel like there's
whiskey
got to be
tasting.
charcuterie.
How do you polish Crocs?
With
Is it like,
special croc polish made for alligators.
and if you are a croc polishing company, hit us up. We're looking for sponsors. Over to our game recap. All right. Please mute the two boys while I read this section on game recap. Rapids took on LA Galaxy this past weekend at home at the Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Rapids were coming off a home win the week before versus the Portland Timbers, and after besting the older Bassett and the Timbers 2-0, Rapids went into this weekend 10th in the West against a team that we had discussed of being generally unpredictable and so far untested. Well, the Rapids tested it out, and the results were negative for the Galaxy. Rapids won this weekend 4-1 after a star performance. A few highlights. Yappy started Yappy Hour early, putting Rapids on the scoreboard in the 23rd minute, and assisted by number 10, Paxton Aronson, in what was Paxton's first goal contribution of the season. New to the Galaxy, João Klaus, which we was able to get a header in the second half in the 56th minute. We discussed last time, this is Klaus's first time finding the back of the net at the Dick since he joined the league in 2022. But unfortunately for Galaxy, that would be the only time they were able to land a goal for the rest of the game. Manyoma scored in the 76th minute, assisted by Yappy, making Yappy have 2 score contributions this game. And Navajo felt left out and went for the brace in the last 5 minutes, scoring in the 85th and 90th minute. Final score of the match was 4-1, moving Rapids up the table to 5th with 6 points and a +3 goal differential. What is your thoughts on this game?
Great.
Hold on, Monk. Are we allowed to unmute?
Yeah.
No, I don't
Hey-
wait for
Hey,
unmuting.
Paddington, Piddington, you can unmute the boys now.
This is why I don't want a mascot, because they actually use it to secretly follow you and do things.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, yeah,
bugging
I'm-
whatever mascot we give
I
you. There's a
totally
bug in that.
believe that there's a camera in Pennington's eyes, and Sarah's just watching everything now. She's just like nanny camming us to make sure that like we don't do untoward things so the show can continue.
Like
The next
gambling.
one's gonna have a shock
already
collar
screwed.
in it.
Wait till you find out what we put in your Rapid Man voodoo doll behind you.
Oh, guys, he's so cool.
Pure evil. That's what we put in it. Pure,
Well, talk about it.
unadulterated evil.
Look, I made him a little stand with my 3D printer. This is what they call the Rapid Man voodoo doll, everyone, but it is just a vintage Rapid Man that I found at a thrift convention. He's kind of cute.
No way. That was made by like an 84-year-old woman in New Orleans, and it's powerful.
And you can't call it like an older Rapid Man. It's got the burgundy on it.
I
You
know,
want the
it's an
old school
Adidas.
Rapid Man that's back when we were in that like blue and green and black.
Yeah, it's an
era.
Adidas jersey too, which means that it's after it was Puma. So we can try
Yeah.
to date Rapid Man at another
You can-
time.
I know some people that can tell you when it was made, probably.
That'll be a surprise question for Jordan Rockrock on our next
But-
call.
Anyways,
Based
back
on
to the
these
game.
graphics, what year is this from?
Speaking of when it was
Oh.
made, the 23rd minute is when Darren Yappy made his first goal of the 2026 season. Here to discuss, Monk.
I love the transition, Matt. Amazing. He's learning. It's so just tear to my
And
eye.
you just wrecked
But-
it by not
But
taking
it's
it.
okay. Exactly, because
You
I'm just
couldn't
doing what you
yes
guys do.
and the transition.
Oh, I can. I can do that because the Rapids win up a man again. 2 games in a row. I want to have a lot of confidence in the team. I think that our offense is looking better, but our 2 wins are coming off of teams that were down a man. Due to their own stupidity and their own red cards, but nonetheless, like this game was a 1-1 game, and then they lose a man, and we run up that tally.
Gabriel Peck, hot shot for Galaxy, got his second yellow shortly after Klaus scored his goal, putting them on with a red card for almost the entirety of the second half.
And still, we looked good, but that's something it's really hard to judge this team right now when you go have 2 games like that. Our 2 wins are being up a man, and you take the luck when you can get it, right? So we got to take that luck because some point we're probably going to end up with some unlucky cards or issues. So got to enjoy that. Our Klaus's goal, what were we doing? This guy has 3 goals on the season already, and nobody was on him.
I don't know. It was
I know it was clustered because it was off a rebound and whatever, but nobody stepped back onto this guy that's obviously hot.
I do think you're right. I do think that he had some other dangerous attempts on goals that Nico was able to stop. I think that it was Peck being able to shoot through and feed a ball that no one actually anticipated he would be able to pull off because he was so close to the line and he had missed the first one. But I agree.
Yeah, I think the Rapids got Paul Rothrock again, which is they switched off when they thought the ball was surely going out of bounds. And yet, just like in that Seattle match, Paul Rothrock saved it and then delivered it into the box. This one was on the end line. Gabriel Peck was able to dig it out just before it went out and then chip it back in. At that point, I think it had already pinballed around the box 5 to 6 times. And it was an instance of Nico got hung out to dry. He was covering all those other ricochets, and this one was just, I think, quitting a little too early, thinking the ball was going to go out, and we got called ball watching.
Well, we should stop doing that. That would be a good decision to stop doing that.
You heard it here first.
Wait till the ball goes out of bounds. Wait for the whistle to be blown. All right, just don't stop playing until it's time to stop playing. We can't give up goals like that. Navajo's goals, both of them dirty with the left foot. That one in front of the goal seems easy, but coming off of a ricochet to still hit that into the net from there with those kind of effects, that's not an easy shot to make. And he made it look easy, and then his dribble in the 18, just wow. That shot was absolutely stellar. Going in the back of that net, there's no way the keeper has any chance at that. That was an absolutely amazing shot.
It truly did feel like he was just feeling a little left out, and he's like, "Oh, my turn. I'm gonna go." Something to note, it's been a long time since the Rapids have scored more than 3 goals in a game. I did a little digging, and we didn't have a single game above 3 goals all last season. So the last time Rapids put 3 or more than 3 goals in was July 7th, 2024. It was a game against St. Louis. So a little less than 2 years ago. And another thing I thought was really interesting about these 4 goals is all 4 of them were in open play. We didn't see any PKs or any coming off of set pieces. They were just pure Rapids get the ball glory, which truly I think are the most fun goals to watch. So other than, of course, we all agree PKs in a tie are the most fun goals to watch. But other than that, these were pretty great.
I think on those goals, it's really important to point out Hoffa's first goal came off of Keegan Rosenberry basically just soloing the whole field and then putting his head down for what we thought was going to be a classic Keegan Rosenberry banger. In the post game, Keegan kind of laughed and lamented. He's like, "I just hit it all wrong. I knew as soon as I hit it that it wasn't going in." But luckily Hoffa was there, and Hoffa came over to Keegan after the goal and thanked him for the easiest start of his account of a season yet. And then that second one was Wayne Frederick with just an amazing anticipation step to dislodge a Galaxy pass, get the ball up to Hoffa, and then do a little screen / leapfrog over Hoffa's shooting window that might have helped open it up, but that finish from Hoffa into the upper 90 from the top right of the box was just chef's kiss. And we had another debutante via Alexi Manyoma, which we've talked about the spark plug he is. He finally showed it, and that it was like a 1,000-watt smile when he scored that goal. It was amazing.
What I like to see right now is that you're seeing confidence in our strikers. Like Yappy taking someone one-on-one in the 18. Like you wouldn't have seen that last season or the last few seasons. Like he's gaining that confidence, and I think that's what we've really, really been missing. And I don't know if that was an Armis issue or just a Rapids overall issue, or if it's just like right now we're feeling it because we've gone up, won a game, and we were dominating this game late in the game, being up a man. But like we're playing with a lot of confidence and actually going at trying to take those shots and actually pushing on net instead of kind of, worrying it, instead of trying to make that extra pass or, I feel like just like shooting it wide a lot of the time. And that's how you score goals. Like even if you put it on net and the goalie has to save it, like you've got to shoot. And we're showing that confidence. And if we can continue to do that, we can be very dangerous. It's something we've talked about on a podcast. Like these players, you see it randomly. You've seen it randomly where the players have just looked like, oh my God, look at that shot. Look at that touch. We just need it to be consistent.
Well, and I agree with you. And I think that aggression towards the goal, this game was even a deviation from how we've played the beginning of the season. So I looked back a little bit, and in both Seattle and Portland, we had 3 shots on goal, which is a huge difference from 4 shots in goal, right? Like we had 7 this game. So we've made more goals than we had shots on goal in either of the previous games. And so they're really, taking Matt Wells' coaching to heart of like, be bold and take those shots. And it worked.
Yeah, I think, Monk, to your point, last season, it was almost like, what's that expression? Like, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Like, we were doing too much upgrading of the shot. And so I think the players were constantly in their heads about trying to have the most upgraded shot, versus not entirely different what we're seeing this season. But the shots, like Matt Wells said, just be the big boy on the pitch. Act like you're already a champion, dominate, like take the shot, see what happens. And that puts a team on its back foot. And for a squad like ours that isn't built of, worldy international soccer players or a ton of high ticket players, that sort of swagger, that's contagious. That's what like propels a team like ours forward. And like I was joking, like releases the rush. Like 150-foot water geyser on a 38-degree night sure felt emblematic of how this team was shooting.
One other conversation I wanted to have was that we saw Paxton Aronson's second goal contribution with his assist in this game, meaning that he's now had 1 goal in 2025 and 1 assist this season. That gives him 2 goal contributions in 10 games now with the team. My question for you all is, what's going on, and should we be expecting better after 10 games that he's now been with his new team?
Yes and no. I think that I would like to see him shine a little bit more, but he's not that style of player, right? This isn't Georgie. This is a guy that's more of a defensive player. You're going to see probably less assists, less goals, less flashy play because that's not who he is. I still think he needs to be a little bit more of a leader on that field and a little bit more impactful for the salary and the number he's wearing. Right? He's got to be that guy, and he's not yet showing that he's that guy. And so we really need him to start ramping that up, especially with how young our team is.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Monk. I think when we came in, we thought we were getting a 1-to-1 Georgia replacement, and I don't know that that's really Paxton's ideal position or vibe. I think this is a Mitch Carroll saying on Commerce City Radio, like Georgie was very much the straw that stirs the drink. And he was also the carbonation that comes out of the nose. He was a creative explosion, and you never knew what was going to happen. I do think what we're seeing is Paxton being the straw that stirs the drink here, because he is doing a ton of work east-west, facilitating, opening lanes, relieving pressure, dropping back, putting some stuck-in tackles. I think the counting stats will come, but even if they don't, I don't know that that's necessarily the best role for him in this system. His price tag kind of implies we're going to get those counting stats. But like we've said many times, like if Paxton's a workhorse 8 and we have a creative 10 on top of him, then that's an ideal rapid system going for a championship. If Paxton is the one with all the counting stats forced into that creative number 10 role, then that probably shows we have some problems in the other thirds or other positions on the field.
So do you think we're going to go grab ourselves that 10? I know we have a pretty big coffers right now this season from what I've heard. So can we go pick up that 10? Because arguably we sold the one that we thought was going to be there.
Yeah, I've been on record on the show, Jack McGlynn or bust. Get Paxton's best friend. I don't care what the price tag is. I'm not pocket watching for Uncle Stan, so I say we spend the money. I know we have $5 million in funny money in GAM in our coffers, like Monk mentioned, which is the second most in the MLS. Obviously, it takes two to tango, and I don't know that Houston would ever part with Jack McGlynn. But point being, this needs to be at least as much as we spent on Paxton. We should be spending on someone at that 10 position to pair up with Paxton. This is a long season, and we've seen in these first 3 matches kind of different thirds and different player groupings all kick on. And so as they all start to gel throughout the season and the entire engine spinning, I think you throw a force multiplier in that mix, and we can be contenders. I think that force multiplier comes via the 10. I know other people have looked towards wing depth or another center back, but I would put all of our chips in, spend the money. It might look like a lot on the balance sheet, but I think in a season where the West could probably be up for grabs outside of LAFC, like, why not?
Well, going into that game, we made our predictions, and all of us predicted a Rapids win. Matt predicted 2-0 for Rapids, myself 2-1. We joked on the pod that Monk was 7-0, which would have been a pretty close shout, but in reality, his bet was 3-0. I think we give it to him as getting the point differential correct and being the closest to the actual score for this game.
Before Monk gives
4-1.
his acceptance speech, I want some credit here. I called the Hoffa brace.
You did call a Hoffa brace.
I had faith in the Brazilian god. Like,
He needs it. We need that. Like, I predicted him to be our golden boot for our team, arguably fighting for that even within the league for his goals. Like, he needs to have a big season if we are making a run into the playoffs. This is a guy that we need to be able to put on our back and score lots of goals, especially when you're looking at like Aronson probably not putting in the type of goals Georgie was, right? So it's going to fall on Hava's back and obviously quite a bit on Yappy's back as well. But I think you've got to put more of that pressure on Navajo himself.
He very nearly had a hat trick as well.
Oh my God, that header.
Yeah. But, and we didn't put this in the show notes, I would like to bring up something. This was Rafa Navarro's first ever time wearing the captain band, and that was huge. I've been calling for this since, I think, 2024 season, but especially a lot last season, that the hardest working player on the pitch, despite the language barrier, should be at least a candidate for the captaincy. And after he wore that this match, when we talk to Coach Wells, when we talk to Keegan, when we talk to Yappy, when we talk to Nico, everyone said the same thing, that Hoffa is a beacon on that team. His joy, his resilience, his willing to do anything asked of him, his ability to go 0 to 100 minutes, whatever is called upon him, and the work rate that he puts into all facets of the game. I think Wells was on record saying, like, the goals are great. He's glad that Hoffa got the goals, but what he saw from Hoffa outside of the counting stats, from how he led the team, his work rate on the field, everything that he did in the lead up to the match was emblematic of true captaincy. And he has been so impressed with him so far. that's the good. This is the call out portion in a game where he's man of the match, where he wears the captain's band for the first time, where he scores a brace. We were not able to talk to Rafa Navajo after the game because the Rapids currently don't have a Portuguese translator on staff. This is one of your most expensive players on the team, one of your brightest spots, one of your stars, a hero, even though he's from Brazil, to an underfranchised Latino population that has been hankering for a Latino star. And we can't talk to him because there's not a translator. For all the good strides that Rapids make, like, this is a note we have to harp on. The stars, and not just the stars, but this is, I think, particularly sharp because of the performance he had, can't get lost in translation. This league, this team, this sports conglomerate, KSC, have far too much money and resources to have a player of this caliber not be able to have his story told because of a language barrier. Like, just, period, end of story. That has to be fixed.
Agreed. I'm going to go
call.
back to your soccer comments, unless Vittori wants to dive in on that one. Like, I completely agree. Like, that's unacceptable. Fix that shit. It's not that hard. You've got the money, you've got the resources, you've got multiple teams that you could use those resources that you always talk about. Like, this is one of those areas that you should be able to use those resources for, right?
Sorry, I'm going to interject. Credit where credit's due. Shout out to Emilio Gonzalez, Rapids Comms member, for translating so that we could speak to Alexi Manyoma after his first goal in Burgundy. And then the Rapids did bring in someone during the R2 playoffs last year so we could talk to Bilo Giop during his amazing run. But yeah.
So go back to Rafa and just his play, right? So when you're looking at number 9, they can score a lot of goals, but they generally aren't. They are your hold-up striker, right? They're not the guy that's flashy. They're usually not the guy scoring a ton of the goals. They're more of your assist. They're the guy that you make mark, right? You push them up, they're pushing forward, and you're trying to force the defense to hold on you. So they're always marked. They usually have 1 or 2 people on them, and their job is to hold that ball and distribute around from the striking position as the team moves forward in a lot of styles of soccer, right? And so the expectation of scoring lots of goals like that, similar to Paxton, right? That's not the only way to evaluate his skill set, which I think is what Wells is talking about, is just if you look at how he works, what he's doing, his job is to make players around him better, to allow them to score goals, to give them space. And that's what you really want out of your really talented players. Even when you look at Messi, like, Messi is an insane talent, right? And so he scores lots of goals because he's an insane talent, but he also draws like 4 players onto him to open up other players, which makes everybody around him better. Georgie did the same thing. That was his ability, right? He'd come in and he'd be able to distribute and also get people to score goals because people had to mark him, and Rafa forces you to mark him. And him scoring those 2 goals is going to make people have to focus on him even more and really mark up on him.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think we talked about this maybe after the Seattle game. I wouldn't mind a world where we see one of Josh Atencio or Hamza Ojedarin come off, and we have less of that defensive double pivot, and we have Yappy start at the 9, Rafa start as a false 9/10, and then Alexi on the left wing. This is definitely an offensive, pressing-minded formation, and I'd be down for it.
Shall we move on to around the league?
Yeah, we have to, because Sarah hasn't talked in like 10 minutes, and I'm starting to get scared.
All right,
she's
well, let's move on
unionizing at the moment, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the stuffed animals in me unite. All right, around the league. This is our segment where we talk about key games that happened this past week or what we're looking forward to in the upcoming week around the league. I will start off with a few, and of course, the boys are welcome to join in with well thought out and respectable comments to contribute to this segment.
Who do you think we are?
You're saying the expectations really, really high. I feel like we need to bring those down just a little bit.
All right, well, let me get us started. So this past week, on our last pod, we were talking about the question, what's going on with Orlando? Are they as rough as their start to the season would suggest? And the first game of the week may have answered that question for us. NYCFC wrecked Orlando 5-0. Bad news for Orlando, who it just seems is really not in form this year, but also bad news for the Rapids. Rapids, of course, will play Eastern Conference NYCFC in New York this coming weekend. So both teams will be coming off of a high score win. But I think that this is maybe confirmed suspicions that Orlando is just not the team that they once were.
They might not be, but a caveat has to be made to be fair here. And we'll talk about this more when we go into the preview against NYCFC. But Orlando got a red card in the 18th minute, and that red card was to Maxime Crépeau, their goalkeeper. So in the 19th minute, they had to pull winger Tyrese Spicer off to put in backup goalkeeper Javier Otero. I don't know much about Otero. This performance would dictate that maybe he's not the best goalkeeper, because Orlando then fired off 2 goals in the 22nd and 42nd, and then he gave up a penalty to Maxi Morales in the 45th minute. So this is a 5-0 game on its face, but this is a game where Orlando was without their number 1 keeper and down to 10 men in the 18th minute. To put that into perspective, the Rapids beat LA Galaxy 4-1 on 10 men in the, the 64th minute?
With our backup keeper.
So Orlando still can be bad, but also our backup keeper would be a starting keeper on, I'd argue, at least 10 MLS teams.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I do think, though, that 3 games is maybe enough to say that Orlando is not a threat right now. But
if we can pry, maybe we can get Ojeda from Orlando before the transfer window. If they're not going to do anything this season, we call up our old friend Oscar Pareja and we say, "Give us your boy."
Listen,
who says no?
I know that Orlando
Oscar
is nice.
Pareja because he doesn't like us.
I know Orlando's nice because the weather is nice, but we don't do winter here anymore. So everyone is saying Colorado's the new Orlando. And by
Orlando really that nice though? Because it rains at 2 p.m. every damn day.
In Orlando, it doesn't rain here. Just listen as he's talking about Orlando. Yeah.
And marginalized communities don't have rights there. So really, Colorado's the better Orlando.
And to further the Orlando is the new Denver storyline, not a lot of people that aren't local know this. Most people outside of Denver just assume that the clandestine bunkers under DIA are for the lizard people and the inevitable government fallout shelter when the world ends. No, that's a new Disneyland being built for when the world ends, but a Disneyland nonetheless underground that will survive the apocalypse and stand the test of time. And if you haven't
seen beachfront property, probably.
Right? And if you haven't witnessed acute radiation poisoning Goofy, then have you lived?
Wait, is that also where they're building Victory Crossing? Under Commerce City next to
No. Some myths are just myths. They're not building Victory Crossing. That was, yeah. Yeah. You can take your tinfoil hat off, Sara.
No, the kid who did that, he's already graduated with his PhD and been in the working force for 10 years. So...
All right. Well, in another, are they good or are they not? Last week, we were also wondering whether we were good or whether Portland was just bad. Turns out maybe both. But Vancouver bested Portland 4 goals to Portland's 1 in Portland. Sorry, Cole, but thanks for taking whatever funk the Rapids were in with you, I guess.
Well, to be fair again, because you asked for reasonable takes, Cole didn't play. Cole was out with an injury. Diego Chara was out with an injury as well. So we can't put this one on Cole Bassett.
I love that my entire segment is maybe we know which teams are good and which teams are bad. And you just were like, hold on.
Yeah, because
I can explain away all of these.
Don't believe women. We know this. Let me mansplain it to you.
Oh, we have fallen so far from 2 days ago of International Women's Day.
Well, Matt didn't even know that was a thing, so...
So
he
here
doesn't
are
actually
my
believe
top
me
10
that it's a
things
thing.
that I love about Mario. Number 1,
All right.
Italian dude.
My one last thing was that Montreal, who has been the main driver of the MLS struggle bus so far this year, got a break, surprisingly beating Red Bulls 0-3 or by 3-0, but in New York, which I did find kind of surprising. I didn't think Montreal had them in them, and to do it on the road was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, much like their magazine publication, it looks like Sports Illustrated Stadium maybe just hired bots to play the game as well. Like, how did Montreal do this on Red Bull's home ground? That's bad.
Wild to me. Any other highlights from around the league from this past week?
Begrudgingly, I know Atlanta's not good, but we do have to point out that Salt Lake City won 3-2, and I hate giving them a compliment, so I'll just give a couple of the kids that play for them a compliment. Like, those kids looked good.
You shut your damn mouth. They look like trash because they're Salt Lake trash, and
well, yeah,
that's
they're
how
still
it
a
is.
Commerce City 5, but they're a Salt Lake 10 in this performance. Sorry, they're a Sandy 10 and a Commerce City 5. Actually, they were in Atlanta. They're in Atlanta too. Like, oof.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I honestly, when I looked through the lineup for this week, I didn't see a whole lot I was excited about. But I do think you might want to have 2 screens up, because when our Rapids are playing the Yankee Stadium at 5:30 p.m., Miami will also be kicking off in Charlotte. Charlotte's sitting 6th in the East with a record of 1-1-1. But Miami, who also has 6 points, they got, remember, trounced by LAFC. But other than that, Charlotte may kind of be Miami's first real challenger, like first formidable opponent. So I'm really curious to see how Miami shows up in Charlotte for that game.
Of note, both for, since you're talking about that game, and for anyone that still plays fantasy, this is a double game week for a few teams because of the additional tournaments. So Nashville, Miami, the Galaxy, San Diego, Cincinnati, Vancouver, and Seattle are all playing this week as well in Champions Cup. So tomorrow, at time of recording, this is Tuesday afternoon, evening. Nashville and Miami will play, and San Diego and Galaxy play as well on Wednesday. And then Thursday features matchups that include Cincinnati, Vancouver, and Seattle. So of note for those teams' potential performances in match day 4.
Isn't fantasy just fake gambling? Like, what do you guys...
Maybe they're just trying to surface the key. I can't even remember the jargon anymore. I was going to try and like add some Lord of the Rings joke, but
Yeah, I was going to say fantasy is gambling the same way that like risk is war.
yeah,
They're not the same.
fantasy is the SEC regulating.
If you asked our leadership, they wouldn't know the difference.
Oh man, what I'll note and what Matt is saying is that for these teams as they move through Champions League, and especially as it seems like MLS teams are taking that competition more seriously, that could mean some heavy rotation in their MLS regular season games. So we'll see if we're seeing teams like Miami, who have historically not traveled their starters when there's a lot of game congestion, whether they'll continue to travel them or play them.
Yeah, so to go back to what we talked about last week on the Are They Bad? Orlando versus Montreal will be a huge litmus test this weekend for Are They Bad?
Oh man, that's now. Who is winning the Orlando-Montreal showdown?
I bet Montreal wins and Oscar Pereja gets fired.
Okay.
If he loses to Montreal this weekend, I think there's a coaching change.
My gut was on Montreal as well. Monk, do you have any instinct here? Or do you only bet if we put money on it?
I only bet when you put money on it, or it just doesn't have any value. But I'll do some fantasy betting, and I'll say that I'm gonna go against you both just because I'm gonna go for the big bucks in that win that Orlando wins.
All right, I got a bag of Nerds gummy clusters on it, Monk.
Ooh, I didn't know the stakes were that high. I would have thought through my bet a little better. All right, I'm putting it in our notes where we put the scores. We'll refer back to it next week.
All right.
All right. We ready for the match? We got
Let's
a
do
game
it.
this weekend. All right. We're going up against NYCFC. That's right. We're going to New York or somewhere-ish near New York.
New York.
Concrete jungle where things
Uh,
are made of. There's nothing you can't fade away.
This is your version of Monk and I cutting you off with opinions. You have to cut us off
Yep.
with song.
just random songs.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today.
Sarah, you coming to
I
Local
wanna
46 for
be
karaoke
a
Thursday night?
part of it. I wasn't invited.
You,
We're doing
I'm
karaoke.
inviting
literally
you right
just on
now.
the pod. Maybe after
Yeah.
rugby.
Local 46 guys, karaoke. I think it starts at 9. Come out. We'll be there.
Oh, that's bedtime. What are you thinking?
Well, I can't help you there, buddy. Monk, you were never going to
Oh.
come out anyway.
This is true. This is just facts. But we are playing at New York. They're sitting first in the East with 7 points, a record of 2-0-1. And they've only played one home game and they won that. Goals for 8. 5 of those came in the last game. And then 2 against. So they're showing a solid defense though. Give them that. Obviously they're coming off of a dominating performance of 5-0, but it was against Orlando, so take it as you will. The Colorado Rapids are sitting 5th, as we said, with 6 points. They're 2-1-0 with a away record of 0-1-0. So we only played one game and we've lost it on the road. So see how that goes, and we're all trying to forget that game because it was god awful. We are sitting at
What
6-3 for our goals for, goals against. Overall, New York City has only let us win one game against them, with 3 wins and 3 draws. Outside that, the positives are the one win was our last bout, and the last time City beat us was in 2019. Granted, we only played them twice since then, so you gotta put the stats in order. But I think we have a good shot here if we can go in with some confidence. I think they're a good team, though. This is a very good team. They're also hot right now. And so I think this is going to be a challenging game, especially on the road. New York fields are usually smaller as well, so you don't have as much space to open up the game in. And I don't know. I'm still hopeful, but I think I'd love to just see us running with the confidence that we just played. What about you guys?
I think there's a big note here. So we, in our past 2 games, have ended the game facing a 10-man team. In all of their games this season, NYCFC has ended their games facing a 10-man team. NYC has seen their opponent get a red card in all 3 matches. We've seen an opponent get a red card in both of ours. So it's like one of those like something's got to give sort of scenarios coming up this weekend, or who knows how many players both teams finish with. To your point, Monk, I think the baseball stadium that they play in, Yankee Stadium, and the just remarkably narrow field that soccer is played on there is potentially not a weakness for us. Cole Bassett talked about in the game the Timbers played against the Rapids post game that Wells and the team came out in a particularly narrow formation, which caught the Portland Timbers off guard and kind of prevented them from getting in behind the Rapids and have that offensive drought. So we do have kind of a good a whiteboard example of the team playing narrow as they go into a literally narrow field this weekend against NYCFC. And from what we've seen from Lucas Harrington and Rob Holding in the past 2 matches they've been starting together, I think they can be a very tall wall that takes up the majority of a narrow back end of the field. And that will allow the Rapids to I think, play a pretty pointed offensive game.
Yeah, to me,
Feel
when
right?
I'm looking at this matchup, I do find it really interesting looking at again, with the caveat that we are still so early in the season that it is hard to put any weight into the table in the current standings. If you notice, the East Coast table is not nearly as competitive as the West Coast. So, like, we are sitting in 5th with 6 points, but we have 4 teams currently undefeated in the West. That is wild. So, us sitting at 5th, we're literally the only team that doesn't have a perfect record, or we're the first team on that table without a perfect record. New York is sitting at the top with 7 points. So they're 2 wins, 1 draw to our 2 wins, 1 loss. All of the statistics are showing that we could be a really comparable team in a good matchup. I always do think it's interesting when we're playing an East Coast team because there just isn't that body of history to really look at. Last time we played them was in, like you said, 2024, but we did win that, and we did win that at Yankee Stadium. So I think this is a game that Rapids could win, and I think that the fact that it is a evenly matched game we could win away means we'll lose it.
Interesting.
Yeah, our away form this season is hard to predict.
History would say our away form is garbage.
Whoa.
History of just most of history, our performance is not stellar. Our
History's
stats against
not
most
real.
teams aren't great.
History can't
Oh.
hurt us.
Let go of the previous pains of the Rapids. We live in a new Piddington future.
Yeah.
Can we find out if any of their players happen to be, giving some money to somebody to get a card in the game to make big money?
Yeah. I think there's some pretty substantiated allegations that Maxi Morales is placing bets on himself. So I think in due course, the right thing to do, Don Garber and MLS, is to just hold him from this game, precautionary, so that way, no scandal breaks out.
So, like, in order for it to not be slander, like, a question cannot be slander, Matt. So what you have to say is, are the rumors that Maxi Morales is betting on him true? Could we know if he's really betting on himself and therefore should be seated this game?
So I just hit him. I don't even have to form it as a question. I just the intonation slide, Maxi Morales is betting on himself. Yeah. Allegedly, I've heard streets are saying, that's where we're going with. Streets are saying that Keaton Parks is a small stake owner in DraftKings. I don't know, but streets are saying.
That's what I heard from Walmart Rapid Man. He told me.
The fact that we're all hearing things from Sarah's Rapid Man voodoo doll means we definitely need to transpose our therapy money to psychologist money, and that the power is real.
Well, we'll just put everything on black and hope that we can afford that.
Done. Everything on colorful black. I want to go to the Rapids roulette table. Where you have to bet on black. You're color.
Won't this be the first game we aren't playing in black?
Yeah. Oh,
Quite
good
possibly.
call.
Yeah.
We should see the Headwaters kit for the first time of the 2026 season. Release the Rush, baby.
Another local soccer team.
No, that's the name of our water cannon. Rapids have fire up the fountains. We have Release the Rush.
I got to be in the splash zone for one of Navajo's goals. It was so fun. And so you're not wrong, underwhelming.
How was a 38-degree splash zone, Sarah?
When it's putting a third goal in on LA Galaxy, it was blissful.
I want a Snow Classico game. What was it last year when it was 3 or 6 degrees? All those viral Instagram and TikTok videos of people throwing hot water and it freezing instantly? I want that to happen with the splash zone and it just raining ice pellets.
No.
Come on.
Apparently there's a certain temperature that they will not do it below. So we'll find out. We'll push those limits this winter,
That's
I'm
dumb.
sure. All right. Should we do predictions for the game?
Shall we do predictions?
Shall we predict in a
Let's
dignified
go.
manner the outcomes of this NYCFC
I'm sorry, I can't
game?
listen to Vittoria unless she's actually singing.
It gives me very Julie Andrews vibes. Like, all I want is a room somewhere far away from the cold night air, where rapids and the season above the line. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely? What's your score predictions? I've delayed for you long enough.
Matt, you're up.
I'm going 3-2 Rapids. 3-2 Rapids. And ironically, I think neither team that has faced a 10-man team in the preponderance of their games this season will face a 10-man team this game, and we see no red cards. I think the goal scorers are going to be Hafanavahu. I think we're going to see Dante Seeley get a goal in NYC. I think he's going to be especially valuable for his ability to tuck in inverted and use that left foot on that baseball pitch. And third goal scorer, I think Paxton's going to do it. He's an East Coast boy. He's probably going to have some family up at the game from Medford, New Jersey. And I think Medford Messi shows out in the Big Apple and gets a goal. I think Tavon Gray and Maxi Morales are the goal scorers against us.
Awesome. I'll go 2-1 Rapids, though that is the most optimistic my soul allows me to go for this game. Navajo and Yappy on our side. Navajo had too much fun scoring and Yappy seemed unstoppable. So let's keep that up. I'll go with Morales, but I am purely going off of just like the big name goal scorer on that one. And the fact that I think he put some money on him scoring a goal, so he'll probably do it.
Yeah, guys. Streets are saying Maxi Morales bet he would score a goal in the first half. So I'm just saying, if he does, probably got to pull him for the second.
Probably.
Those streets have a lot of opinions these days.
They do. Do they have any opinions on whether our Purple King will be back in net, though?
I was going to ask that question as well.
Oh, this is really important because we actually didn't cover this in the game preview. We could be without Zach Steffen, Connor Ronan, and Reggie Cannon. Initially in the post-game presser, Matt Wills was optimistic that they missed any kind of big risk injuries on both Cannon and Connor Ronan, who we did see leave the game with injuries in the match against LA Galaxy. They are getting scans this week, and I haven't been to training yet nor heard any injury scuttlebutt. So they may be pulled from the roster for game day this week with injury status or preventative recuperation. Zach still TBD on that shoulder injury that he took in training. Honestly, not mad if Nico starts again in goal. His ability to march forward and literally try to jump on whoever's trying to score the goal could be a benefit in that very small, skinny stadium that NYCFC plays in.
Oh, man. I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to predict for the first time this season that we get a goal scored on us, because I don't think we're going to see Stefan in goal. And I think Nico is an insane goalkeeper and could start somewhere else in the league, but I still think that Stefan's a better goalkeeper. I think Navajo gets 1. I think Yappy gets 1. And I want to see Paxton get 1. I think we need him to start scoring a goal or so at this point, just to get people to shut up and gain his confidence. And then it's hard to gamble against Morales, though we're hoping that based on rumors that he might be pulled from the game. So
I have another hot take prediction. With how good of a keeper Nico Hansen is and the contract extension, do we think both Nico Hansen and Zach Steffen are still Rapids after the summer transfer window?
Well, we only have 16 players on our senior roster, so if we get rid of somebody else, we've got to find some players and warm bodies to fill a bench.
I think you take that hot take out of your damn mouth, sir.
I didn't say Zach's leaving.
I don't care. I love Nico too.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for a keeper, and I
thought the performance he put out against Galaxy, that's going to put him on the radar if he already wasn't on the radar for his standout performances last season. Like, I don't know how long we can sit with like such a keeper that could probably start for 10 teams like on our bench before someone makes an offer we can't refuse.
Sure. I think from the Rapids perspective, though, Zach has missed a lot of games, both from injuries, but also from international call-ups. And so it really, really, like, Nico is a bench keeper that is getting used.
He is a luxury item.
Yeah, and if
I would leave a team where purple's not an option.
Furthermore, Zach's contract is up in 2026. The club has an option for him in 2027. Oof. So this could be a poor egg special of giving Nico the extension, providing contract negotiation leverage.
If you had to choose one, I would keep Nico, only because he's younger and he's upcoming talent. You can probably get him a little bit cheaper. And overall, he's going to continue to grow as a player, and he's obviously performing very, very well. And can just continue to get better. And so I think that if you had to make that choice, I would sadly say that the better option is to keep Nico.
Well, anyways, thanks for coming for what is, I've now learned, the last episode of the PIDCAST. It's been a good run, but there are some things that are sacred, and we have crossed a line.
Streets are saying
not knowing about Women's Day, it was not
placing bets on.
First they came to fantasy. Then they took the purple.
Come on. What about your beautiful lemon drop nickname for Nico Mbop Lemon Drop Hansen? I thought that was a stroke of brilliance last game.
I was really proud of it. We have to have a good name for all of our keepers and their pretty kits. So, yeah, write that one down. Nico.
Speaking of lemon drops, Sarah, where can they drop you a line? The fans,
I'm going to start
the admirers.
By, you skipped over final thoughts, so I'm going to start there. I just wanted to take a moment
Matt
that it's
doesn't read
been.
the notes.
I can't read.
Guys, this is serious. Focus. We can't have you laughing on screen while I read this part. Okay. Jokes aside, obviously, like, we have a lot of fun in our Rapid world, but I wanted to take a moment to just like highlight what's happened over the past week and emphasize that it's currently now unclear whether the Iranian men's team is going to be able to participate in the World Cup after the U.S. and Israel bombed the living daylights out of Tehran over the past week and have now entered into what is a who knows how long war with Iran. And to emphasize that this action happened during Ramadan, the Muslim holy month, as well, is particularly disgusting. And so I think this is just like another way in which the World Cup is and continues to be a deeply political competition. And also one that historically comes with violent repression of the hosting communities. And so I think that as excited as we all are coming up on this World Cup, it's important to note that like our current government and the tumultuous world in which we now live, it will likely show its head in a million ways during that cup. And I'm nervous, I'm scared, and still actually honestly kind of pissed that it's happening here and not sure what we can expect during that time.
I've heard that the list of teams that might not be coming because of current situations could be impactful. So annoying. Can't just enjoy good soccer. It's always gonna be messed up by stupid people.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic point, Sarah. And really, I thought you delivered the seriousness and the ramifications of the incident perfectly. It calls into question what it means to be a host country for a world moment when the world moments you produce as a country tend to be, as you said, tumultuous at best and at worst, using AI to bomb a girls' school. Like, you're not dropping peace prizes on Tehran. Like, this isn't what's happening. What's happening is, I think, rampant reason to abstain from this tournament if you are countries with teams that have qualified. I think it's reason for fans to boycott, to protest, to get the word out that like these things matter. I think it's also reason, as we've seen historically in other World Cups, that if this isn't just, corruption 101, the rights to be a host country should be pulled. They should at least be being publicly questioned by FIFA. But alas, going back to the dropping peace prize comments on opposing nations, like, I don't think anything's going to happen. So I think it's going to be up to people like Sarah Fattori and us and other soccer podcasts and anyone that's going to be in any adjacent space with a platform to talk about it when this World Cup hits, that for 40 days and 40 nights, there might be fanfare at the skyline while literal war and destruction on the ground everywhere else.
Yeah, and I still and we don't I think maybe we should do our own little like maybe interrobangs on like what does it mean to have soccer here, but also like we are talking about immigrants coming into this country in a place that has made it very clear how we feel about or non-white people, right, coming into this country from other countries in a place that's made it very clear how we feel about immigrants. And so I also worry about like the safety of players and the fans that'll be coming.
I mean, a good way to frame this for those the Rapids fan base is, how would you feel as a fan of a team if Steven Beitashour was currently on our roster and his home country was being bombed by the country you live in and the country that is hosting the World Cup, and that he makes it to the Iranian national team and can't play out of fear or duty or being restricted from or displaced from the tournament? Like, there's going to come a point where the question is facing all of us. Like, it might not be there for everyone yet, but I mean, that's a prime example. We've had an Iranian national team player like that, beloved in our fan base, and hopefully will again.
Well, maybe no clear answers, but like a clear values base that like there is no just like soccer in this world, right? that it will always be a political game, and that we can celebrate a 4-1 win, and also remember that like people died this week. People died because of bombs dropped by a country that's going to host one of the biggest soccer celebrations over the summer.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this a bit in the preseason. Like, this ball is a mirror. What you do with it is what everyone's going to see, and it's going to be on display in North America from June 11th to July 19th.
It's just so frustrating that we get to host and the turmoil that is around our country right now is at what is arguably the height that in my lifetime, and probably in even older generations, people's lifetime, like what's going on in our country is just absolute chaos, and the decisions aren't being made intelligently or with care for anything, and for no real reason. And it looks bad on us. And it looks bad on us just in general, but then when you're looking at the world, you're going to be looking at us to watch soccer, which is the most popular sport in the world. Sorry, as NFL fans, but it's not even fucking close. All right? You might call the National Football League a world champion, but real world champions play against the world in the
all
sport
our NFL
of
fans
the
who
world.
listen to this.
Well, what was the thing?
I'm an NFL fan, but like,
No, the
I
Broncos aren't
understand
an
it's a
NFL team,
national
so it
league,
doesn't
not a
count.
world. Right? Like, this is the most popular game and has millions and millions and billions of viewers. and everybody's watching us, and this is going to be the headlines instead of how great of a host country we are and how inviting we are to people and how much that we don't follow bring your rich, your poor, and your masses here. We're putting up walls and dropping bombs. So it is disappointing. Just very, very disappointing. But the Rapids weren't. They're currently doing well.
The world is upside down.
All right. Well, on that note, we'll continue to cover these conversations, of course. You can find me at the Fattori on socials and playing in a rugby scrimmage game this weekend, which should be super fun. Matt, where can they find you?
You can find me at Matthew Wick on socials. And I'm going to go play dodgeball on Thursday night. I'm pretty excited about.
Matt forgot to mention also on the secret webcam that was put into Piddington. So you can watch him there live on
Only Pids. Only Piddingtons. This is just going to be more revenue streams for us. We need it.
More revenue streams. We need it for our gambling habits.
And of course, per usual, check out Don Chicharron, the amazing band that provided our intro music, local Denver Chicho band. Always like that.
This should have been in PIDDER Chatter. Don Chicharron announced as one of the first lineup drops for the inaugural Blucifer Fest. Have you guys heard about this?
No. Oh my God.
No.
It's the end of the show, Matt.
Okay, next episode we're talking about Blucifer Fest. I expect you guys to do your research.
Deal.
Done.
Is that like while we're actually live doing the research? Because that's what we usually do.
Oh my God.
Hey, don't release the secrets.
Monk, where can they find you?
You can find me at Monk of C38 on Burgundy Sky, and behind the decks when we have a home game, and just at home the rest of the time because I don't ever leave my house because I like my house and I don't like to talk to people. No, I'm just kidding. I love you all. You guys are amazing. Up the fucking pits.
Up the fucking pids.
Tú tienes esa cosa especial, bella mariposa especial, ella con su ropa especial.